The Cannibal King and His Friend Wise King Mahasuddhasoma. Part 1. In the era between the Kassapa Buddha's Sasana and Gautama Buddha's Sasana, a brave and strong king ruled a peaceful and prosperous kingdom. He was loved by his subjects and his family. However, he had a weakness. He was very fond of meat and would never have any meal without, at least a meat dish. His cook, Yasaka, was also good at cooking meat. One Sabbath day, all the butcher shops closed, so Yasaka was unable to get meat. But fortunately, he managed to buy a piece of meat, so, planned to cook it to his king's liking. An urgent matter came up, so he left the kitchen, but forgot to close the kitchen door. A dog that wandered the palace grounds went into the kitchen and ate up all the meat. Yasaka was sick with worry, for he knew that his king was very quick-tempered and if his favorite dish was missing in the royal meal, he could be severely punished. As a last resort, he went to the cemetery and found a fresh human cadaver. He cut up as much meat as he could and prepared a dish with the human meat and served it to the king. The king had been born several times as a human-eating yaka in previous lives. The taste that he had enjoyed in many lifetimes now appeared again in this dish and he ate with relish. He ordered Yasaka, the cook, to prepare this dish every day and he would have none other, from then on. Yasaka was at a loss. Except for Sabbath days, he could easily get beef, mutton, venison, pork, but human meat is impossible. Finally, he told the king about the true nature of the meat, anticipating a severe punishment. Instead of getting angry, the king gave him an idea to obtain human meat. Yasaka went to the jailer and asked for the dead body of a recently executed criminal. Then he cooked a dish which the king ate with relish. Soon, the jail ran out of condemned criminals. Yasaka and jailer, fearing the wrath of their king, started executing prisoners who had committed petty crimes. When there were no prisoners left, because nobody dared to commit any crime, Yasaka placed a bag of money on the street. Anyone who picked it up was accused of stealing and taken to prison where he was killed. Soon, even the bag of money was left untouched. So, Yasaka abducted people in the dark of the night. The people of the city were so terrified of the nighttime killer that nobody dared go out at night. They went to the king, but their plaintive cries were met with indifference by the king, who knew that Yasaka, his cook, was the one committing the cruel murders. The people then approached General Kalahati. The general was a brave and clever man who sympathized with the frightened people. So, one night, he set up a trap and duly caught the killer. It turned out to be the king's cook Yasaka. Yasaka confessed everything, from the meat dishes to the night killings. The people, including his own family, were so terrified and furious that they gave an ultimatum that the king give up eating human meat or abdicate the throne and go into exile. The king chose the latter option. But he insisted that he would take along his dagger, cooking pot and his cook, Yasaka, to accompany him. The two of them set off from the city to live in a forest. The forest they had chosen to stay was famous for its variety of fruit trees and abundant wild game. Though, they were more interested in preying on the people who lived off the land, hunters and gatherers. At first, there were plenty of prey for them. But after some time, words got around about a big and strong man and his servant who terrorized the once safe and bountiful forest. He was even named Porasada, a ferocious cannibal, by the people in the surrounding villages. Just hearing the name sent shivers down their spine. Eventually, the people became so scared that nobody dared venture into the forest. One day Yasaka came back to their place empty-handed. He explained that he could not find any prey. Porasada said, "Just light up a fire and boil a pot of water." Yasaka's blood ran cold. It could mean only one thing. From then on, Porasada lived alone, hunting, cooking and eating all by himself. One day a rich Brahmin who lived near the forest had an urgent matter to attend to in a town on the other side of the forest. The shortest and quickest route was through the forest. Having heard about Porasada, he took the safe side by hiring a group of escorts, who are skilled in martial arts, to accompany him on his journey through the forest. Porasada stalked the traveling group and decided that the Brahmin was the easiest prey. He also looked well nourished, and therefore, more palatable. When it was a good time to attack, he gave out a blood-curdling cry, "It's Porasada," and ran towards the travelers. The Brahmin's escorts, on hearing the cry, "Porasada," all ran away, leaving the Brahmin alone, unprotected. Porasada carried the Brahmin on his shoulder and ran away into the thick forest. As he ran, he tripped over a piece of wood protruding from the ground and hurt himself. The wound was so severe and painful that, he let go of the Brahmin. Afterwards, his men who were looking for him found him safe and sound. Sickened by the wound, Porasada could not move or eat. He just laid down under a big shady tree with a high fever due to the septic wound. He could not even go out and look for medicinal herbs to heal his wound. But staying without food for a week contributed a lot to the healing process, and so, after 1 week the wound was completely healed. Porasada assumed that it was a miracle that he became well again, and the tree spirit of the tree he took shelter was helping him to recover. He vowed to the tree spirit that he would sacrifice and make offering of the blood of 101 kings to repay his kindness. On his way to capture the kings, Porasada met a powerful Yaka. They had been good friends at the time when Porasada was born as a Yaka himself. His old friend gifted him with tremendous physical powers that surpassed all other human beings. Thus, Porasada became more ferocious and blood-thirsty. In no time, he had 100 kings captured. It was an easy task for Porasada. He just had to cry out, "It's Porasada," and the king's bodyguards and soldiers all ran away. He tied the captured kings to the tree branches and also had a string tied to the ears and the branch. Thus, they were unable to make even a slight movement, much less run away. End of Part 1. The Cannibal King.